From the baby boomers to Gen X, and even to the millennials, every generation has its ideas on what their dream car looks like. With the baton tossed to Gen Z, the paradigm expectedly seems to have shifted. Recently, electric vehicles have become the future of mobility for many reasons, most importantly because they are environmentally friendly. However, the crippling inflation in the economy has made buying an electric vehicle a bit more of a technical job. From car prices to uncontrollable economic brick walls, there are so many factors you need to consider before delving into the electric vehicle market. Sit back and fasten your seatbelts because, in this video, we will carefully take you through every necessary detail you could possibly need to make your decision. So make sure you stick around till the end because every detail is important. Take one quick second to imagine a futuristic Earth with only electric cars on unending roads. Such an eco-friendly world. It almost looks like a sci-fi movie scene. What if we told you that the era of electric vehicles isn't just fast approaching but is already here? In 2012, the estimated sales for electric cars were just around the 130,000 mark worldwide. 10 years later, that amount is estimated to be sold in a short span of 7 days. Wild! The growth isn't just exponential, it's also exhilarating. Take a look at this for a more recent statistic. In 2019, an estimated 2.2 million electric cars had new owners. While that may have been impressive, it merely represented just 2.5% of car sales worldwide. And that's not all. Despite the dwindling economic effects of the pandemic that even affected the conventional car market, electric car sales rose to 3 million and even represented 4.1% of total car sales in 2020. That is a hell of an increase, don't you think? Turns out your electric cars aren't fast on the road alone, but also on the market. How? Well, a year later, into 0 to 16.6 million electric automobiles were sold, accounting for about 9% of the worldwide car market. With an estimated 16 million cars on the road worldwide, it's said that together they all consume around 30 terawatts of electricity annually. Funny enough, that is quite close to the amount of electricity generated by the entire Ireland. The new era is so fast approaching that the state of California recently announced a new law effective immediately in a number of years that entails a ban on any new sale of gasoline-powered cars in the year 2035. Sure enough, a couple of other states in America are starting to follow suit. Now, we know EVs are the bomb, yeah? But what about the current state of the economy? Well, according to research made by the Statista Research Department in October 2022, there has been a 7.7% increase in prices between October 2021 and the time of the research. The annual inflation rate in the United States of America had also risen to 8.3% this year, a far cry from 2011 when it was only at 3.2%. These numbers show how the US dollar's purchasing power has weakened in recent years. And expectedly, this inflation we speak of is hardly an issue of only the Western world. In 2022, so many countries all over the world have made the headlines for the wrong reasons, all due to the high levels of inflation. We're not even bossing you around, but come on. Take a look at gas prices skyrocketing daily and tell us you aren't convinced enough that electric vehicles are the way to go. Yeah, some would argue, and it is a good argument, that electric cars tend to be more costly than their gas-fueled counterparts. And there are electricity bills with their separate costs. These are decent arguments, but then, how do you drive? What roads do you drive on? Gasoline-friendly roads. More often than not, the answer is no. Even hybrid cars can use gas and electricity depending on which way you want it to drive. For a more in-depth look, however, starting with the benefits, here is a framework of the pros and cons to consider in making this important decision. So rev your engines and let's go! Firstly, are good scores in a car's performance something you always look out for when making a purchase? Are you one of those who buy cars based on performance reviews? If your honest answer to these questions is yes, then we have good news for you. Buy an electric car immediately. Candidly speaking, they are mechanical wonders, and they offer an amazing burst of acceleration. Even entry-level electric cars like the Nissan Leaf, for example, can reach, let's just say, more than reasonable speeds. Even the Fast and Furious team will be impressed. What about high-end rides like the Lucid Air Dream? Be rest assured you're getting superb performance. And as a matter of fact, they can even rival the acceleration of some of the most expensive gas-powered cars you can ever find on the current market. Tesla fans or Musk fans, here's something fun for you. Did you know that the Tesla Model S Plaid can actually go from 60 miles per hour in an average of 1.99 seconds? Now that's just crazy. Okay, you're not a speed freak. You're not trying to be Vin Diesel or Lewis Hamilton. So what's more? We have just the thing for you then. Electric cars generally require a really low cost to run. That's right, once you've scraped up the cash to buy one, maintenance is hardly an issue. Why? Simply because they use electricity to juice up their batteries. While that may seem a bit financially shaky on paper, in reality, they only use a fraction of the amount a user would have to spend on his gas-powered car for either diesel or petroleum. The power rate depends on your given state, but it's still going to be considerably lower in costs compared to buying gas. While gas-powered cars can get really expensive to maintain, in the case of electric vehicles, you'd spend considerably less on all that. The reason behind it is that electric vehicles generally have way less moving parts on average, which wouldn't require as many fresh fluids. So you hardly ever have to worry about your car breaking down on the road. About the tax incentives, oh, will blow your mind. In the United States of America, for example, when you buy a car that runs on electricity, or even a hybrid car, you stand a huge chance of qualifying for some federal, state, and local benefits, including the federal electric car tax credit, which may actually fetch you the tune of $7,500. Oh yeah, over $7,000 just for choosing to go electric. Yet another benefit of getting an electric car is that they have clean emissions, which leads to a super clean, green environment with minimal pollution, something gas-powered cars are notoriously known for, especially when they aren't serviced properly. With the global climate change crisis all over, won't it feel good to be one of those trying to keep our ozone layer intact? It sure will. Pretty sure EVs are starting to sound too good to be true, so we'll show you some of the cons. For starters, there aren't quite a lot of different niches at the moment. Yes, there's been a recent booming explosion of a lot of electric models circulating the market, but at the moment, one would be hard-pressed to say the niche also diverse to the point where there's an electric car for everyone to tailor their unique needs in lifestyle or even budget. We mean, the GMC Hummer electric car is the only electric convertible you can find on today's market. So if you love to drive with your hair out in the sun, enjoying the breeze, maybe the EV market isn't for you yet. Also, while it's safe to say more charging networks are up and running as the days go by, there still aren't fast enough charging ports available, especially in areas that aren't so electric car popular. Maybe that's not the market's fault, but it is a setback. And there is the safety concern too. While most gas stations are brightly lit where even the elderly can easily see things from a distance, that's a far cry from electric charging points, where a couple of them can be found in sketchy areas or even in poorly lit situations. This brings us to the reliability of the charging points. A recent study by the University of California shows something you'll find surprising. After a survey was conducted, they discovered that only around 77% of the public fast chargers in San Francisco Bay were working, and even 8 days later, the results were still the same for their survey. How long has it been that way? Why hasn't it even been fixed? We may never really know. But the fact remains that the result of the study is in contrast to the 95% minimum reliability claimed by the electric service providers who are responsible for the charging stations. With all that has been said, we're hoping to have answered many of the questions you probably had about the market for electric vehicles. However, if you've already decided to get one, here is some advice. A second-hand electric car may just be the best deal at the moment, and here's why. For starters, most of the electric cars on the market are either way too expensive or scarce, and the waiting lists can be a bit long. What's more, electric cars tend to depreciate in value, so there are already a good amount of options on the resale market, with juicy prices. Add juicy the cost of maintenance and gas for such a price point compared to solely gas-powered cars, and it's a sure deal for you. And you can pull it off without coupons. We're sure you enjoyed this video, so make sure you give us a like and maybe a comment or two under this video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications as well. Trust us, you'll want to be the first to see our other videos as soon as we drop them.